Yeah. Good morning. First of all, let me thank Pradeep for Shishida for introducing me, and also thank the Alumni Association of Vivekananda, Vidyarthi, Nilaya, Bangalore for giving this opportunity and also organizing this particular program of knowing income tax law as applicable from 1st of April 2021. Well, I think 15 days back, we had a program, similar program at AWOPA, and there we couldn't accommodate everybody. And Mr. Babu, who attended that program, requested me that why don't we organize this particular program on 30th. So that is the reason today we have assembled here. And this particular budget, we know it comes in the month of February, and we are not discussing the budget amendments because it's already almost 3-4 months over. So what we thought is we will have income tax law as applicable from 1st of April 2021. And most of the participants here are either employed or small time business people is what I feel. There may be big business people also, but I'm concentrating on small business persons and SME sectors and basically the people who are in employment. So we cannot cover entire income tax law because we have around 298 sections in the Income Tax Act, but I would like to make an attempt to take you through some of the important provisions as applicable and as amended in the last 2 years. So what we are discussing today will be like we will start with an introduction, then tax rates as applicable from assessment year 21-22, then some of the important amendments, and finally we will discuss about re-registration of trusts or institutions. In fact, all the trusts which are charitable institutions, they have to get themselves re-registered from 1st of April 2021. So I'll be speaking both in Kannada and English so that it will be very easy for all of us to get acquainted with this particular subject. Before starting the presentation, let me go with this introduction. There's a saying, when the going gets tough, tough gets going. So as all of us are aware, we are passing through one of the toughest times of our lives in the years 2020 and 2021 and are surviving. In fact, 2020, we thought it will be over, and when once 2021 comes, everything will be normal. Usually, we know in our Hindu mythology every year that we have a new samvatsara. ಯುಗಾದಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಹೊಸ ಸಂವತ್ಸರ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So ಹೋದ ವರ್ಷ 2020 ನಲ್ಲಿ we were seeing that lot of difficulties we were facing. So that was called as Sharvari Nama Samvatsara. So we were thinking that when once Yugadi ಬಂದ್ರೆ, usually last week of March ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ first week of February, April ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯುಗಾದಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಸಂವತ್ಸರ ಆಗಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸಂವತ್ಸರಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡೆ ಈ ಶಾರ್ವರಿ ನಾಮ ಸಂವತ್ಸರದಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮುಗಿದೋಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಾವು ವಿ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಸೇಫ್ ಅಂತ. ಅದೇ ತರನು ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಮಾರ್ಚ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಕೇಸ್ಗಳು ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 3000 ಲೆಸ್ ದೆನ್ 5000 ಬಂದಿತ್ತು. ಆದ್ರೆ ಈ ಏಪ್ರಿಲ್ ಬಂತು, ಪ್ಲವನಾಮ ಸಂವತ್ಸರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೀವಿ ಈಗ. ಒಂದೇ ಸತಿ ಇಟ್ ಗಾಟ್ ಶಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಪ್ ಲೈಕ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ದ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಕೇಸಸ್ ಇನ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್ ವೆಂಟ್ ಟು 3.5 lakhs. So now again it is coming down. We hope that ಈ ಸಂವತ್ಸರದಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನು ಏನೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. We only pray God that the things will be normal and all of us will come out of this. Only request all of you, those who have not got vaccination, ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇಗ ವ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿನೇಷನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೋ ಆಪರ್ಚುನಿಟಿ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದಾಗ just get yourself vaccinated, stay home and stay safe. So this has not left any one of us unaffected. ಯಾವುದೇ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಲಿ, every one of us have been affected, and we have to move forward with a light of hope. So Aristotle Onassis said it is during our darkest moments that we must focus to see the light. And I am sure that this is the first time in our lifetime, because once in a century ತರ ಆಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಾರೆ. Now we have not seen that last 19th century ಏನಾಗಿತ್ತು, we don't know. Now we are in 2020. So this is what we are seeing, some of the toughest moments of our life. We have to focus and see the light. And also Will Rogers once said, don't let yesterday take up too much of today. So ನಿನ್ನೆ ಏನಾಯ್ತು, ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಚಿಂತೆ ಮಾಡೋ ಬದಲು ಇವತ್ತು ಏನಾಗ್ತಿದೆ, ಮುಂದೆ ಏನಾಗಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಗಮನ ಹರಿಸಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ವೈ ಡಿಡ್ ಐ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಲಾ ಆಸ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕಬಲ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ 1/4/2021 ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಇದೊಂದು ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ದೇರ್ ಆರ್ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್ಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮ್ಯಾನ್ ಗಳಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿಡ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಇರಬಹುದು, ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಫೈಲಿಂಗ್ ಯುವರ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ಸ್ ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು. ಈ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ 6 months ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್ಸ್. ಈಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಆಸ್ ಎ ಚಾರ್ಟರ್ಡ್ ಅಕೌಂಟೆಂಟ್ ಗಳಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಗೇನೆ ಒಂದೊಂದ್ಸರಿ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡೋದು, ಯಾವ ವರ್ಷದ ಲಾ ತಗೋಬೇಕು, ಯಾವ ವರ್ಷದ ಲಾ ನಾನು ಅಡಾಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ಒಂದು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ನವೆಂಬರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದೇರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್. 2000 ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಯರ್ 2019-20 ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಸೊ ವಿ ವರ್ ಫೋಕಸಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ದೋಸ್ ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ಸ್, 2019-20 ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ಸ್ ನ ನಾವು ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ನವೆಂಬರ್ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಹಾಫ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಸೆಂಬರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಲ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಡ್ವಾನ್ಸ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕು. ಆವಾಗ ವಿ ವರ್ ಫೋಕಸಿಂಗ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಯರ್ 21-22 ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ಸ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. ದೆನ್ ಕೇಮ್ January and February where the due date for assessment year 2021 was there. And the 2021 assessment year provisions now we were supposed to file the return of income. Then again coming back to the first 15 days of March, again we went back to assessment year 21-22 to calculate the fourth installment of advance tax. Again later part of March, again we came back to assessment year 2021 and still the due date has been extended. For assessment year 2021 March 31st was the due date. Because of this lockdowns, for filing the return of income for the assessment year 2021, as of now it has been extended up to 31st of May. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾಳೆ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಬಟ್ ನಾನೀಗ ಈ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸೆಷನ್ ಮುಗಿಸಿ ಸಾಯಂಕಾಲದೊಳಗಡೆ we may get another notification where it can go from May to 30th June also. But as of now it is 31st of May, where any one of you have not filed your income tax returns for assessment year 2021, you can file it. So ಈಗ ನೀವು ಇದನ್ನ ಗಮನಿಸಿದ್ರೆ 4ರಿಂದ 5 ತಿಂಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು we were supposed to go around 3 assessment years provisions. So ಒಂದು 19-20 years provision ನೋಡ್ಕೋಬೇಕಾಯ್ತು, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 2021, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 21-22. there's lot of confusion among us. ನಮಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಡೋದು, ಯಾವ ಟೈಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದನ್ನ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಕೀಪಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇನ್ ಮೈಂಡ್, ಐ ಥಾಟ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎ ಸೆಷನ್ ವೇರ್ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಯು ಥ್ರೂ ದ ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕಬಲ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ 1st of April 2021. That was the reason why we selected not the budget amendments, but we said we will take and understand the law that is applicable from 1st of April 2021. And as all of you are aware, the income tax came in the year 1961. So it started in the year 1961. We call it as Income Tax Act 1961. From 1st of April 1961, the Income Tax Act is in existence. But it is not that the income tax is complete as such. It is a developing law. Even today, the Income Tax Act has not been developed. So if you take an example of a software, there may be a time to develop a software. It may be 2 years, 3 years, or maximum 5 years. If you take a project, it can come in 5 years. If you take a COVID vaccination, 1 year or it may take another 4 or 5 years. But the Income Tax Act it is never developed actually. It's an ongoing process. When the businesses keep on changing, the business dynamics keep on changing, the income tax law keeps on changing. So every year there will be amendment ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಕೆಲವು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ನ ತೆಗೆದಾಕ್ಬೋದು, ಕೆಲವು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ನ ಇನ್ಸರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಕೆಲವು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ನ ಮಾಡಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ದ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇಸ್ evolving every year. ನಮ್ಮ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. I think all of us are aware there will be a budget presentation where it undergoes lot of changes. So whatever that has been passed in a particular year's budget, it will be clubbed into the Income Tax Act, the existing Income Tax Act. So this is a process. The development of Income Tax Act is a process and it goes on continuously. ಈಗ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ 2 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂತ just if I want to give you a synopsis of that, there is no change in regular tax rates and cess. ನಮಗೆ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸೇಷನ್ ರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ಚೀಫ್ಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ, ಆಲ್ ಅದರ್ ಅಸೆಸರೀಸ್ ಯಾವುದೇ ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರೇಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಚೇಂಜ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಅದೇ ತರ ಸೆಸ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ at the rate of 4%. That also has not undergone any changes in the last 2 years. What has happened is introduction of new tax rates or new tax regime anta ಒಂದು start ಆಗಿದೆ. In the Income Tax Act itself, they have started a new tax regime or new tax rates. And change is surcharge. Apart from the basic tax, we also collect surcharge. Surcharge anta based on the taxable income. If it exceeds certain limits, that persons are supposed to pay surcharge. There is some changes in the surcharge for individuals, HUF and other assessees. And when the tax ordinance bantu, where they made certain changes with respect to companies taxation. Then Finance Act 2020 bantu. Next to Vivad se Vishwas Act and the 2020 bantu. Next to there was a taxation and other laws relaxation amendment bill anta September 2020 nalli it was introduced, which is effective from November 2020. Then current year 2021 nalli we got the Finance Act. Then apart from this, there are a lot of notifications. Even namge due dates ge ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು notification ಗಳು ಬಂದಿದೆ, whether it is in Income Tax Act or GST law or other laws. All the laws ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ there are a lot of changes, there are a lot of modifications in the form of notifications. ಆ ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್ ಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಏನಿದೆಯೋ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ postpone ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ ಇದೆ. The reason being, one is the pandemic and main reason is the lockout that is happening. So ಇದೆಲ್ಲ last 2 years ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗಿದೆ. Now we will start with the tax rates as applicable for assessment year 21-22. So ನಿಮಗೆ assessment year ಏನು previous year ಏನು ಅಂತ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, but just for sake of knowing that, again I'll just tell you. Previous year andre like whatever the year starts from April to March, so and the following that month of March, the next year will be the assessment year. So ಈಗ ನಾವು we have completed the previous year ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1st of April 2020 to 31st of March 21. That is 1 year previous year financial year. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ assessment year ಬಂದು 21-22 ಇವಾಗ. So whatever we earn income in the previous year, we are liable or subject to tax in the assessment year. So whatever income we have earned in previous year, that is from 1st of April 2020 to 31st of March 21, we are supposed to pay taxes in the assessment year 2021-22. So this is the slab rates or tax rates applicable for various type of individuals. So here there are 3 categories. Then changes agilla, but just I am telling the existing law. Really changes ಏನಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, last 1 or 2 years ಏನು changes ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. The regular assessees, then we have resident senior citizen ಅಂತ ಒಂದು category, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು resident super senior citizen ಅಂತ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು category ಇದೆ. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ resident senior citizen ಅಂದ್ರೆ age between 60 to 79 years and resident super senior citizen ಅಂದ್ರೆ age 80 years and above. What is this slab rates andre up to 2.5 lakhs for everybody it is exempted. So there are 3 slab rates. 2.5 lakhs to 5 lakhs it is 5%, 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs is 20%, and 10 lakhs and above it is 30%. For regular assessees who are aged less than 60 years, up to 2.5 lakhs it is nil, 2.5 to 5 lakhs is 5%. Then we have these 2 slabs. When it comes to senior citizens age 60 years and above, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ basic exemption 3 ಲಕ್ಷ ತನಕ ಇದೆ starting. So 3 lakhs to 5 lakhs it is 5%. Beyond 5 lakhs is same for all the categories. When it comes to resident super senior citizen who are aged 80 years and above, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ basic exemption 5 lakhs ತನಕ ಇದೆ. Beyond that it is same. So ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು changes ಇಲ್ಲ. Now there is an introduction of section 115 BAC ಇಂದ. It's called as NTR. NTR ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆಲ್ಲ, like he was one of the superstar of Telugu movie and was also Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh. Now we have Junior NTR. So 115 BAC is nothing but NTR, that is new tax regime. So it's already part of the Income Tax Act. So new tax regime andre like earlier the tax rates used to be in the the Finance Act ಅಲ್ಲಿ in the schedule ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. Now they have made it part of the income tax act. 115 BAC ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಜಿಮ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ we had only four slabs, ಅಂದ್ರೆ up to 2.5 lakhs exempted, 2.5 lakhs to 5 lakhs, 5 lakhs to 10 lakhs, 10 lakhs and above, there are 4 slabs. But if you see this 115 BAC, ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ 7 ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಇದೆ. ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ up to 2.5 lakhs basic exemption ಇದೆ. But afterwards, if you see all the remaining slabs, for every 2.5 lakhs, there is a tax rate of 5% and incremental of 5%. Like 2.5 lakhs to 5 lakhs, 5% ಇದೆ. 5 lakhs to 7.5 lakhs, 10%. ಅದೇ ತರ for every increase of 2.5 lakhs, there is an increase of 5% rate of tax. After 15 lakhs, it is 30%. So, ಹಳೆ ಸ್ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, existing slab ಅಲ್ಲಿ, beyond 10 lakhs, it is 30%. In the new tax regime, that is new tax NTR, above 15 lakhs, it is 30%. So what is this? If I see this particular slab, everybody may feel that yes, this is very advantageous. Why don't we go to the new tax regime NTR instead of going for old tax regimes or old tax rates? But ಅದಕ್ಕೂ ಇದಕ್ಕೂ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ವ್ಯತ್ಯಾಸ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಇದನ್ನ ಆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಜಿಮ್ ನ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, we have various deductions and exemptions which were there in the old tax system that you will not be eligible. So ತುಂಬಾ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಯಾವ್ದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ, ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಈಗ ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಜಿಮ್ ಬಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅದು ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಈಗ ಸೇ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಎ ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿಡ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿ ಬಂದಾಗ ಯು ಹವ್ ಗಾಟ್ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಟು ನೇಮ್ ಎ ಫ್ಯೂ, ಲೈಕ್ HRA ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಲೀವ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಕನ್ಸೆಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಆರ್ ಸಮ್ 1014 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಅಲೋಯನ್ಸಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಿಗ್ಬೋದು. ಅದಲ್ದೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದ ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಎಂಟರ್ಟೈನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಲೋಯನ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ತರ ಎವರಿ ಹೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ವಿ ನೋ ದ ಹೆಡ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿ, house property, business or profession, capital gains and other sources. So ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ we will have certain deductions allowable. ಈ ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಜಿಮ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, lot of deductions and exemptions will be not available to the assessee. Apart from this, when once you calculate the gross total income, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ 5 heads of income ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನಿದೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ you will get something called gross total income. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ we will claim deductions, chapter 6A deductions ಅಂತೀವಿ. To give you examples, like ನಾವು LIC ಕಟ್ಟಿರಬಹುದು, PF ಗೆ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರಬಹುದು, ಮನೆ ಹೌಸಿಂಗ್ ಲೋನ್ ರಿಪೇಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರಬಹುದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ತಗೊಂಡಿರಬಹುದು. ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಯು ವೆನ್ ಯು ಫೈಲ್ ಯುವರ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ಸ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕನ್ಸಲ್ಟೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಡಿಟರ್ಸ್ ಏನೇನು ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಿದ್ರೆ ಈ ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೊಡಿ, PPF ಮಾಡೋದು ಕೊಡಿ. ಸೊ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಯು ಮೇ, ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಎ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್, ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ 6A ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. So gross total income minus deductions, what you get, that is the total income on which we calculate the taxes. But ಈ ಹೊಸ ರಿಜಿಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಟಿಆರ್ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಆ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್, ಬಹಳಷ್ಟು ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. So let me just quickly take you through what are all the deductions not available. But when once you have to take a call, ನೀವು ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಜಿಮ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು, ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಜಿಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, this is a call taken by the assessee. You can decide. ಈಗ 2 ರೇಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನೀವು ಆಪ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಜಿಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬೇಕಾ, ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಜಿಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರಬೇಕಾ ಅಂತ. ಎವ್ರಿ ಅಸೆಸಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಆಪ್ಟ್. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್? ನಾನು ಕೆಲವು ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ವಾಟ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೆಟ್? ಈಗ ಲೀವ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಕನ್ಸೆಷನ್ ಹೇಳಿದೆ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ, ಹೌಸ್ ರೆಂಟ್ ಅಲೋಯನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಇಫ್ ಯು ಆರ್ ಎ ಮೆಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ಪಾರ್ಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಆರ್ ಎನಿ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಲೆಜಿಸ್ಲೇಚರ್, ಅಲೋಯನ್ಸ್ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ಈಗ ಮೈನರ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ತಗೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಸೊ ಯಾರಿಗೊಬ್ರು ಮೈನರ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಆಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಎವ್ರಿ ಚೈಲ್ಡ್ ಗೆ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ಎನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ 1500 rupees, ಅದು ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ಅಂಡ್ ಕೆಲವು SEZ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇರಬಹುದು, SEZ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದರ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಗಾಟ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಹಾಲಿಡೇ. ಕೆಲವು ಅಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷಗಳಿಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ 10A ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಈಗ ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿಡ್ ಪರ್ಸನ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಆಸ್ ಐ ಟೋಲ್ಡ್ ಯು, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡರ್ಡ್ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ 50,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಸಿಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಅದು ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ತೀವಿ, ಈ ಸ್ಯಾಲರಿಡ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ 200 rupees per month ಕಟ್ತೀವಿ, ವೇರ್ ಇಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಟು 2400. ಆ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. next to house property income indre interest on loan in respect of self occupied property. So ನಿಮ್ ಮನೆ ತಗೊಂಡು ನೀವು ಆಕ್ಯುಪೈ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನಾರ ಲೋನ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಮನೆ ಕಟ್ಟಿ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ you know that we will get a deduction of up to 2 lakh rupees. ಇವಾಗ ಈ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ NTR ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ you will not get that deductions. Apart from that, ಈ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮಾಡೋರಿಗೆ ಕೆಲವು ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. So I will not take you through that. ಇದು ಎಲ್ಲ ಇದರದೇ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು ದ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಚಾಪ್ಟರ್ 6A ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೀವು LIC ಕಟ್ತೀರಾ, PPF ಗೆ ಕಟ್ತೀರಾ, ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ತೀರಾ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 80C to 80U ಅಂತ ಇದೆ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ if you opt for NTR, that is new tax regime, you will not get deductions under these sections except 2 sections. ಯಾವ್ದಪ್ಪ ಅಂದ್ರೆ deductions under chapter 6A other than employers contribution towards NPS. NPS ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪೆನ್ಷನ್ ಸ್ಕೀಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯರ್ ಏನಾರ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ನ್ಯೂ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್, ಇದು ಯಾವ್ದಾರ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮೆನ್ ಗಳು ಏನಾರ ಇತ್ತು, ಇಫ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯಿಂಗ್ ನ್ಯೂ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್, ಅದೊಂದು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ 80JJAA ಅಂತ, ಆ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಇದೆರಡು ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಯಾವ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಸಿಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಈ ಫೈನಾನ್ಸ್ ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಈ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಪ್ರಾವಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಶಿ ವಾಸ್ ಟೆಲಿಂಗ್ we are removing almost 75 to 100 deductions or exemptions available to the assessees anta. Iga coming to the opting of this particular scheme, ellaru opt madkoboda, whether are there any conditions for a person to opt this particular scheme. Individuals or HUF, so this applies only for individuals and HUF, not for other type of assessees. Very individual ge and Hindu undivided family matra idu apply agutte. Individuals or HUF having no income from business or profession. So ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ we have 5 types of income, that is income from salary, house property, business or profession, capital gains and other sources. Any person being an individual or HUF who doesn't have income from business or profession, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ salary income ಇರಬಹುದು, house property income ಇರಬಹುದು, capital gains ಇರಬಹುದು, other sources ಇರಬಹುದು, but business or profession ಇಂದ ಏನು income ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತವರು every year they can opt option to be exercised along with the return of income to be furnished under section 139(1). Andre now e particular category of people, they can opt either the old tax regime or new tax regime every year before filing the return of income. So ಅವರು ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಎರಡು ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಓಲ್ಡ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಜಿಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ನ್ಯೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಜಿಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕು ನಾನು ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಇಸ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ every year they can opt. So year 1 they will feel that old tax regime ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿದೆ, I will go for old tax regime. Next year they feel that new tax regime ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೆ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಇದೆ, they can go for new tax regime. The third year if they feel new tax regime ಸರಿ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ they can go for new tax regime. Fourth year again if they feel ಇಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ old tax regime ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ they can go for that. So every year they can choose. ಯಾರು individuals and HUF, those who don't have income from business or profession, having no income from business or profession. ಈಗ next category, income or HUF having income from business or profession. Hello. So there is a next category of people where they have income from business or profession. ಇವ್ರದ್ದು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ there is a separate options to be exercised by these people. So ಇವ್ರದ್ದು separate options ಏನಂದ್ರೆ when once they can also opt for this particular scheme. Once they can opt for this particular scheme, ಏನಾರ ಇದನ್ನ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ subsequent years they have to be in this particular scheme itself. Every year they cannot select. The people who are having income from business or profession, once they opt for this new tax regime, subsequent years also they should be in the new tax regime, and they cannot withdraw. They cannot withdraw this what you call this new tax regime. They can withdraw only once in a lifetime. Enandre iga first year 1 if they select for NTR, that is new tax regime, year 2 also they should be in NTR, year 3 also NTR, year 4 also NTR, ಅದೇ ತರ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇರಬೇಕು. somewhere they feel that, yes, I cannot pay the tax under NTR, I should go back to the OTR, that is old tax regime, they can opt out. That is once in a lifetime. Again, they cannot get back into the scheme. So income, individuals and HUF having income from business or profession, they cannot come out or opt every year after year. Like the people who doesn't have income from business or profession, they can opt every year. In people having income from business or profession, they cannot opt every year. Once they opt, they have to continue, and once in a lifetime they can come back. But after they come back again, they cannot re-enter. When they don't have income from business or profession, again they can come back to the new tax regime. So wherever people who are listening to this particular thing, if you want to decide whether they have to go for NTR or OTR, especially people who don't have income from business, no problem. Every year you can decide. But those who are having income from business or profession, you should be careful, and you should take the advice of your consultant and take a call of opting this NTR. Okay. Then with respect to the tax rates applicable to others, like there is no change in the rates. For firms, it is 30%. So domestic company, the companies where its turnover is less than 400 crores, it was at 25%. And for companies which is having more than 400 crores, it is 30%. So when this particular provisions was introduced, they said almost more than 95% of the companies will have turnovers of less than 400 crores. So in this particular tax rate of 25% will benefit almost 95% of the companies that has been registered in India. Less than 5% companies will have more than 400 crores who will be paying the tax at 30%. Then we have cooperative society goes slabs in it. Apart from this, like 115 BAC ಅಂತ ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ ಈಗ ಅಂದ್ರೆ individuals and HUF ಗೆ, there are 3 more sections, 115 BAA, BAB and BAD ಅಂತ, where this applies to companies and cooperative society. Domestic company exercising option under this section, ನಮಗೆ 22%, 25%, 30% ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ ಹಿಂದಿನ ಸ್ಲೈಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ 25% and 30% is there for domestic company. But domestic company, if it is opting this particular section, the tax rate will be 22%. ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಔಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರುವಂತ ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಆಗಲಿ ಕೋಆಪರೇಟಿವ್ ಸೊಸೈಟಿಗಳಾಗಲಿ ಏನಾಗತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ they will also not get, or they will not also not eligible for various deductions and exemptions. So anybody who is having a company who wants to opt this particular section, you have to consult your chartered accountant and discuss with them what are the pros and cons of getting into this new tax regime, and then take a call. So there is one more section, 115 BAB. This is with respect to manufacturing company. Any company registered after 1/10/2019 and before 31/3/2023, time is there. Any company set up after this date and before this date, and which is in the manufacturing of article earthing or generation of electricity. Ee tara companyಗಳಿದ್ರೆ, and if they opt this particular section with foregoing lot of deductions and exemptions, the tax rate will be at 15%. Instead of 22%, it can still go at 15%. And 115 BAD is for cooperative societies. If they opt this particular section, they can pay the tax at 22%. Then coming to the surcharge for firms, early domestic company, foreign company, last 2-3 years in the ಏನಿದೆಯೋ ಅದೇ ಇದೆ. ಈಗ ಏನು ಚೇಂಜಸ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ. The only changes that has happened is with respect to individuals and HUF. So up to 50 lakhs for individuals, it was nil. 50 lakhs to 1 crore, it was 10%. Beyond 1 crore, it was 15%. ಈಗ ಅದನ್ನೇನು ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1 crore to 2 crore 15% ಮಾಡಿ, more than 2 crores up to 5 crores, it has been made as 25%. Beyond 5 crores, they have made it 37%. So ಇದರದ್ದು ಮೊದಲು ಏನಿತ್ತು, ಎರಡೇ ಸ್ಲಾಬ್ ಇತ್ತು, 10%, 15%. ಈಗ 10, 15, 25, 37 ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So this is the 4 different rates, and ಇದು slab rates ಅಲ್ಲ. The income tax calculation will be on the slab rates, but when it comes to surcharge, it will not be on the slab rate. So wherever your income falls, the surcharge rate will be there. Say suppose your income is 49 lakhs, there won't be any surcharge. 49 lakhs ಗೆ ಅದೇನು tax ಬರುತ್ತೋ as per the slabs calculate ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. because it is less than 50 lakhs, no surcharge. If say suppose your income is 60 lakhs, first we will calculate the tax applying the slab rate. Whether you will opt a new tax regime or old tax regime, we will calculate. On that we will compute 10%. We will add 10% of surcharge. At the other mele, we will calculate cess of 4%. So these are the rates that are available. 50 lakhs to 1 crore, 10%, 1 crore to 2 crores, 15%, 2 crores to 5 crores, it is 25%, above 5 crores, it is 37%. But there is one exception to this surcharge category. Surcharge on following incomes is restricted to 15% irrespective of the total income. Yavadappa andre on the dividend income received from you would have invested in domestic companies where earlier it was exempted. Dividend distribution tax anta modlittu. So whatever dividends you would have received, the shareholder was exempted. Now the dividend distribution tax has been abolished. So the dividend received by the shareholder is taxable. So dividend income irbodu or short-term capital gains or long-term capital gains. Ee more category income bantu andre whatever may be your income, the surcharge will not exceed. It will be restricted to 15%. Say you category 2 crores to 5 crores ali, surcharge will be charged at the rate of 25%. But more income it will be restricted to 15%. So category it will be restricted to 15%. Just to give an example, assume a person has got 3 crores of income. He has got 3 crores of income, 2.5 crores of income from other sources, and 50 lakhs of income from these 3 sources put together, for example. So 3 crores he will be in this particular category where surcharge should be done at 25%. 3 crores. But we say that for these 3 type of income, the surcharge should be restricted to 15%. Now again, a 2.5 crores other income, we will calculate surcharge at the rate of 25%, and balance 50 lakhs, we will calculate surcharge at 15%. So it cannot go beyond 15%. Next, there are some special rates. 111A 15% is this is for short-term capital gains, long-term capital. There is no change in all these things. So if this continues from the previous year, the same rates are continuing. Other than that, we have this rebate under section 87A. Like where a resident individual whose income does not exceed 5 lakhs and the one varshadalli 5 lakshakina jasti exceed agalla andre, they will get a deduction of 12,500 or tax payable, whichever is lower. There were hopes that the basic exemption limit, which is 2.5 lakhs, will be increased to 5 lakhs. Now 2.5 lakhs in the 5 lakhs increase agate anno and we were expecting the government will increase the basic exemption limit from 2.5 lakhs to 5 lakhs. But basic exemption limit change agilla. They kept it at 2.5 lakhs. They introduced this rebate under section 87A. So yargadru income up to 5 lakhs itre, they need not be liable to income tax. Babu, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, ready, sir.
So, okay, na speed alla okay na?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. No problem.
Okay. Now, after knowing the tax rates, now we will try to understand some of the changes or amendments that have happened in the last 2 years. There is one section introduced called 9B, where if the amount is received by a specified person from a specified entity, it is subject to taxation. Who is a specified person? Specified person andre a partner of a firm. Firm includes a partnership firm and LLP, limited liability partnership, or a member of association of persons or body of individuals. He is called as a specified person. And if he is receiving income, what is the type of income? Receipt of capital asset or stock in trade. Either he can get a asset from a particular firm or a stock in trade from a particular firm. What is the specified entity? Andre partnership firm, LLP, AOP or BOI. Just to simplify this explanation, let me take an example of a partnership firm. There is a partnership firm. A partnership firm is considered as a specified entity, and the specified persons are partners of this partnership firm. So specified entity bandu firm, specified person is partners of this particular firm. So whenever there is a receipt, some income is flowing from the specified firm to this partner. So what is that income or what is the transfer? It will be in the form of capital asset transfer or stock in trade transfer. ಯಾವಾಗ ಇದಾಗತ್ತೆ? ಯಾವ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಫರ್ಮ್ ಇಂದ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಇನ್ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ಡ್ ಟು ದ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ವಿತ್ ಅಂತಿದೆ dissolution or reconstitution of such specified entity. Specified entity ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ, ಫರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಅದಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಡಿಸಲ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಫರ್ಮ್ ಕ್ಲೋಸ್ ಆಗಿ ದ ಅಸೆಟ್ಸ್ ನೆಲ್ಲ ಡಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ reconstitution of a partnership firm. What do we understand by reconstitution? Reconstitution ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? If in a partnership firm there is an admission of a partner, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ಶಿಪ್ ಫರ್ಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 3 ಜನ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, there is one person who will be admitted to that particular partnership firm, so it will become 4 partners. So that is considered as reconstitution of a partnership firm. Innondu example, there are 5 partners in a partnership firm, one partner is retiring, so 5 alli obru retire adre 4 jana agtare. This is also considered as reconstitution of a partnership firm. Illa innondu example, 5 jana partners idare, admission illa, retirement illa, but their profit sharing ratio takes a changes. There will be a change in the profit sharing ratio of all or few of the partners. Andre ಈಗ 5 ಜನ partners ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, there is no admission, there is no retirement, but our internally profit sharing ratio will be changed. That is also considered as reconstitution of a partnership firm or a specified entity. So the circumstances is the particular entity should dissolve or there should be reconstitution in that particular entity. ಆ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ if there is a transfer of capital asset or stock in trade, then effect of this transfer ಏನಂದ್ರೆ deemed to be income in the hands of specified entity. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾದ್ರೂ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿನ ಇಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಇನ್ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ನ ನೀವು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಫರ್ಮ್ ಗೆ ಅದು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ deemed to be income in the hands of specified entity. And what is chargeable? ಈಗ ಈ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ capital gains in the hands of that particular firm. If you transfer stock in trade, it will be considered as profits and gains of business or profession. So ಈಗ ನಮ್ಮ ಒಂದು ಫರ್ಮ್ ಇಂದ ಒಬ್ರು ರಿಟೈರ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ that will be the income in the hands of the firm and it will be charged to tax as capital gains. ನಾವು ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಇನ್ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ that will be considered as income from business or profession. So what is the valuation? The valuation is fair market value of the capital asset or stock in trade or both on the date of receipt by specified person. Now a specified person ಗೆ ಯಾವತ್ತು ನಾವು ಟ್ರಾನ್ಸ್ಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕ್ಯಾಪಿಟಲ್ ಅಸೆಟ್ ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು ಇಲ್ಲ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಇನ್ ಟ್ರೇಡ್ ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು, ಅವತ್ತಿನ ದಿವಸ ಅದರ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ, ಫೇರ್ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಏನಿದೆಯೋ that will be the valuation for calculation of income in the hands of the partnership firm or the specified entity. This is a new section that has been introduced in this current financial year. Then there is section 10 subsection 5. People who are in service will be aware of this. Claiming of leave travel assistance without traveling. ನಮಗೆ ಲೀವ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಅಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್, ಲೀವ್ ಟ್ರಾವೆಲ್ ಕನ್ಸೆಷನ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುವಂತದೆ. Employees who are all working, you will have this facility of LTA or LTC. So LTA, LTC ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ the employer has to apply for a leave and he has to take his family and go on a trip. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆಚೆ ಕಡೆ from the place where he is working, he has to apply for leave along with his family. He has to take some leave and go to a particular place and come back. So this is a leave travel assistance or concession. So when he takes up this tour along with his family, then he will be given certain allowances or some reimbursement of traveling expenses. ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ 2020 ನಲ್ಲಿ, as all of us are aware, because of this COVID situations, people couldn't go out of their own place. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಸಿಟಿ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಹೋಗಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. So there was no means of travel because of lockout, and people also were hesitant to travel from leaving their own places to travel to other places. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ there is one this thing law which is applicable from 12th of October to 31st of March 2021. ಏನಂದ್ರೆ instead of traveling, if you incur some specified expenditure ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಆ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯಿ ಇನ್ಕರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, even though you are not traveling, you will get a benefit under section 10 subsection 5 towards leave travel assistance. ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ಈ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಚರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಗೋಗಿದೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ. 12th October 2020 to 31st March 21 ಈ ಟೈಮ್ ಆಗೋಗಿದೆ. ಮೇ ಬಿ ಅವ್ರು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಬಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಇದು ಆಗೋಗಿದೆ. ಯಾವ ತರ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಇಸ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಟುವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್. ಐದರ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಸಮ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಗೆಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸಸ್ where which attracts GST at the rate of 12% or more. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಸೇ ಸಪೋಸ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್, ಎನಿ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಯು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್, ಸಮ್ ಲಕ್ಸುರಿ ಐಟಮ್ಸ್ ತಗೋಬಹುದು, ಏನಾದ್ರು ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ where the GST rate is 12% or more ಇದ್ರೆ that will be eligible. Or even if you take services, if you go to a doctor, if you go to a chartered accountant ಗೆ GST 18% ಇದೆ. When you come to us, when we raise a bill, we have to raise with the 18% GST. So that is also 12% and above. If somebody is getting spending some amount where the GST rate is 12% or more, you will be eligible to claim that expenditure as leave travel assistance. Now ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡಿದೆಲ್ಲ ಸಿಗುತ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ವಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ದ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ the payment should be made through electronic means. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಅಲ್ಲಾಗ್ಲಿ ಆ ತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟರೆ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. You have to pay through banking channels, electronic means and the tax invoice should be available to claim. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ ಇನ್ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರಬೇಕು. And also there is certain restrictions. ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ exemption should not exceed rupees 36,000 per person. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಫ್ಯಾಮಿಲಿಲಿ maximum 4 people are eligible to claim this. The 4 people may be husband, wife and children or dependent parents atra. So 36,000 per person ತಗೋಬಹುದು, maximum 4 persons. So 36,000 into 4 ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1,44,000 ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. Or 1/3 of the expenditure what you have spent, specified expenditure. Say ನೀವು ಒಂದು 3 ಲಕ್ಷ ರೂಪಾಯಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರ, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 1/3 will be 1 lakh. What you are eligible is 1,44,000. whichever is less ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1,44,000 or 1 lakh, whichever is less, 1 lakh you can claim as leave travel assistance under section 10 subsection 5. This is for assessment year 2021. ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಮಾತ್ರ ಇರೋದು. Sorry, financial year 2021, that is assessment year 21-22. Next we have this 1010D and where all of you are aware that if you take a LIC insurance policies, I usually say insurance is LIC ne barata, other insurance companies sudden ಆಗಿ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So LIC is the life insurance corporation though. If you take insurance policies, ನಿಮಗೆ when once it is matured ಅಂದ್ರೆ survival benefit ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ with bonus interest ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಂದಾಗ, that particular incomes will be exempted. ನೀವು would have seen when once you take in LIC policies, ಆ maturity ಆದಾಗ ಹೋಗಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ it will not be subject to tax. It will be exempted on section 10D. So apart from LIC, ಇಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ಏನಾಯ್ತು, even ULIPs ಅಂತ ಒಂದಿತ್ತು, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಲಿಂಕ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಲಿಸೀಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಇತ್ತು. But now they have changed this particular clause. ULIP ಅಂದ್ರೆ where it is issued after 1st of February 2021 and aggregate premium payable exceeds 2.5 lakhs. 2.5 ಲಕ್ಷಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಪ್ರೀಮಿಯಂ ಪೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋ ಯುಲಿಪ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 1010D ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗಲ್ಲ. ಲೆಸ್ ದನ್ 2.5 lakhs ಇದ್ರೆ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. More than 2.5 lakhs idre, it will not be considered as an exempted insurance policy. That will be considered as a capital asset. Now a capital asset anta enondide, where it will be considered as a capital asset. On maturity, whatever you receive, the difference will be charged to tax as income from capital gains. Idu ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಸರ್ವೈವಲ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಸರ್ವೈವಲ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಬಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So there is a case situation where the insurer dies and the amount will be received by his legal representatives. Avaga ಈ particular clause will not be applicable, and you will get the exemption and it will not be subject to tax. Only the the insurer who takes the insurance in his own name and on maturity, if he is still alive, it will be subject to taxation. But during the period of the policy, if the insurer dies and the amount is received by his legal representatives, you will get an exemption and it will not be subject to taxation. Next, we had section 10, 11 and 12 like employees contribution to provident fund, employees provident fund and voluntary provident fund. ಇದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಕೇಳಿರಬೇಕು, ನ್ಯೂಸ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಾಗ್ಲಿ ಪೇಪರ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಓದಿರಬಹುದು. ಲೈಕ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಬಿಯಾಂಡ್ 2.5 lakhs. ಸೊ ತುಂಬಾ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಈಗ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲವರಿಗೆ ದೇ ಮೇ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಆಫ್ 50 lakhs, 60 lakhs, even 1 crore per month. 10%, 12% ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎವ್ರಿ ಮಂತ್ ದೇ ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಬೀನ್ ಡೆಪಾಸಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ PF 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs ಆತರ ಮಾಡುವಂತವ್ರು ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ವರ್ಷಕ್ಕೆ 1 ಲಕ್ಷ, ಸಾರಿ 10 ಲಕ್ಷ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1 ಕೋಟಿ ದೇ ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಇನ್ PF. Or more than 1.5 crores they would have been invested in voluntary provident funds or employees provident fund. Madlu elladu exemption irodu. Whatever you invest, you would have been exempted, and the interest on that also is exempted. So people were taking benefit, and it was a scheme that was available where people could have taken benefit out of that. Now what has happened is, now they have restricted this employees contribution to EPF and PNVPF to the extent of 2.5 lakhs. Up to 2.5 lakhs in a year, if you invest, the interest accrued on that is fully exempted. 2.5 lakhs kinda jasti madre. Say suppose somebody is contributing 10 lakhs in a year. A 7.5 lakhs ge yen income barutto, income on contributions exceeding 2.5 lakhs is taxable. So up to 2.5 lakhs in a year, it will be exempted. Beyond 2.5 lakhs, whatever the income you earn on that, it will be taxable. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರಿ ಇದೆ. Then in all this PF, there will be a situation where both employer and employee both will be contributing. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾರು ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೋ ಅವರೂ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಉದ್ಯೋಗ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರೋರು, both employer and employee ಇಬ್ರು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. But there may be certain situations where only employee is contributing, employer is not contributing. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಕೆಲವು they will have an arrangement, cost to company ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, where there is a agreement between the employee and employer, and they will say you can plan your whatever the way you want to take the salary, and this is my total package ಅಂತ employer ಹೇಳ್ತಾನೆ. ಆವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, employer contribution ಇರಲ್ಲ, employee himself may contribute to this provident fund. ಆವಾಗ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ, if employer contribution is not there, no employer contribution is there, contributions up to 5 lakhs is exempted. ಅಂದ್ರೆ contribution exemption ಅಲ್ಲ, interest on that contribution of up to 5 lakhs it is exempted. Illi 2.5 lakhs interest accrued on up to 2.5 lakhs exemption ittu, where employer also contributes. This is a situation where employer is not contributing, only employee is contributing. Interest accrued on contributions up to 5 lakhs it is fully exempt. Beyond 5 lakhs it is taxable. So illi 5 lakhs ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾರು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೋ income, interest accrued on that contribution exceeding 5 lakhs, that will be taxable. Next we have this charitable institutions and certain exempted institution, non-profit organization, 1023C and the Income Tax Act sections and section 11. I don't know how many of you are dealing with this, but anyway I'll quickly rush through these provisions. ಈ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗಳು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈಗ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ಸ್, ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಅದನ್ನ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅಪ್ ಟು 1 crore ಟರ್ನ್ ಓವರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ಅವ್ರ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಎಕ್ಸೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿರ್ಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಂಪ್ಟೆಡ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 1023C. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಬ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸಸ್ ಇದೆ 3AD and 3AE ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಪ್ರೀವಿಯಸ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ ಟು 1 crore ಟರ್ನ್ ಓವರ್ ಇದ್ರೆ, ವೇರ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಪ್ ಟು 1 crore ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರು ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಆಗಿ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಂಪ್ಷನ್. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ ಅಪ್ರೂವಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದೀಸ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್. ಆ 1 crore ಇರೋದ ಲಿಮಿಟ್ ನ ನಾವು ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಮೇಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಟು 5 crores. ಇಲ್ಲ ಈ ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ 1 crore it will be 5 crores, both for university and education institutions, hospitals and medical institutions, up to 5 crores. So up to 5 crores ಇರುವಂತ ಟರ್ನ್ ಓವರ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಅವರು they need not apply for specific exemption. It is automatically granted. And ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಗ್ರಾಸ್ ರೆಸಿಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಬೋತ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ is limited to 5 crores. So ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ವೇರಿಯಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಒಂದು ವರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಎಜುಕೇಶನ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಒಂದು ವರ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಮೆಡಿಕಲ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಒಂದೇ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯವರು 2-3 ತರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. ಅವಾಗ ಒಂದೊಂದಕ್ಕೂ 1 ಕೋಟಿ ಇತ್ತು. ಇವಾಗ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಸೇರಿಸಿ 5 ಕೋಟಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸೆಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. If all together, if it is more than 5 lakhs, again you have to apply for the income tax department and get the exemption. This is with respect to 1023C ಕೆಲವು ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್. ಈ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 11 ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಚಾರಿಟಬಲ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್. ನಾ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಅವಪ್ಪ ಹೇಳಿದೆ, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ a non-profit organization which is having a 12-year registration and also ATG ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಇರುವಂತ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ. ಆ ತರ ಯಾವ್ದಾರ ಒಂದು ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಇದ್ದರೆ where you have got 12-year registrations and also ATG registration ಇದ್ದರೆ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 11 ನಲ್ಲಿ ಎಕ್ಸೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ there are certain amendments. ಈ ಕಾರ್ಪಸ್ ಫಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಡೊನೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Say for all these charitable institutions, there will be 2 types of donation. One is voluntary donations, one is corpus donation. Corpus donation ಅಂದ್ರೆ it is for a specific purpose. And ಅದನ್ನ ಜನರಲ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರದು. So you will the people will say that this is for this particular activity. So this is the corpus fund ಅಂತ ಡೊನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. So ಈ corpus fund ನ generally that institutions used to use it for various other activities and also for the specific purpose. ಇವಾಗ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಕಾರ್ಪಸ್ ಫಂಡ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ ಆದ್ರೆ there is a condition that it has to be kept in invested or deposited as per section 11.5. ಅಂದ್ರೆ 11.5 ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ they will give various types of investments. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಕಾರ್ಪಸ್ ಫಂಡ್ ನ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಹೂಡಿಕೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ, ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈಡ್ methods or specified securities, then it will be considered as income. And amount applied out of corpus fund. ಈಗ ಕಾರ್ಪಸ್ ಫಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ ಮೇಲೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಜನರಲ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಗೆ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರದು. ಕಾರ್ಪಸ್ ಫಂಡ್ ಅಂತ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಕಾರ್ಪಸ್ ಫಂಡ್ ಗೆ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಸೇ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಗಿವ್ ಎನ್ ಕೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಟೆಂಪಲ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಜನರಲ್ ಡೊನೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಅದಲ್ಲದೆ ಯು ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸೀನ್ ಸಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ಇದು ಯಾವ್ದೋ ಒಂದು ಗೋಪುರ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕು, ಗಾಳಿ ಗೋಪುರ ಕಟ್ಟಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಒಂದು ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಕಲೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಕಾರ್ಪಸ್ ಡೊನೇಷನ್ಸ್. ಆ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಡೊನೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫಿಕ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕನ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಎ ಗೋಪುರ ಫಾರ್ ಎ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಟೆಂಪಲ್. ಆ ದುಡ್ಡನ್ನ ಬರೀ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಬೇರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು. ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಅದನ್ನ ಬೇರೆದಕ್ಕೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಟ್ರಸ್ಟ್ ಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ 100 rupees we receive, 85 rupees you have to spend. 85% of the amount has to be spent towards the general purpose. ಆ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಚಾರಿಟಬಲ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಆವಾಗಲೇ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಕ್ಸೆಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗೋದು. 85% ಗಿನ್ನ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಬಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಕಾರ್ಪಸ್ ಫಂಡ್ ದುಡ್ಡು ತಗೊಂಡು ಜನರಲ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಗೆಟ್ ದಟ್ ಎಕ್ಸೆಂಪ್ಷನ್. ಆ 85% ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇದನ್ನ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾವಾಗ ತಗೊಂತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾಳೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಬೇರೆ ದುಡ್ಡು ಬಂದು ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ 11 ಸಬ್ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ 5 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ದೆನ್ ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅನ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಆಫ್ that particular funds. ಇದಲ್ಲದೆ for certain purpose, for charitable purpose, if you don't have money to do certain charitable activities, you can borrow funds and use it. So borrow funds ಮಾಡಿ ನಾವು borrow ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದನ್ನ spend ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ that will not be considered as application of income. When it will be considered as application of income ಅಂದ್ರೆ next years or future years ಅಲ್ಲಿ when you repay that particular loan, and that years it will be considered as application of income. Not in the year you borrow and spend the money, you will not get application of income. The last amendments here is so every year I said you will get 100 rupees, you have to spend 85 rupees, 15 rupees you can accumulate. Or there may be situation where you get 100 rupees, you spend 90 rupees. But there was one circumstance where you got 100 rupees, you have spent 110 rupees. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಹಳೆ ಅಕ್ಯುಮುಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಸೇರಿಸಿ ಯು ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ಲಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ 10 rupees or excess spending of 10 rupees, minus 10 ಆಯ್ತು. 100 rupees received, spent is 110, minus 10 ಆಯ್ತು. Earlier there was a scope where you could have carried forward this minus 10 to the next year and set off against the current year spending. But ivaga they have removed that. So excess application of income of a previous year shall not be allowed to be carried forward to the future years. So this is amendment with respect to this trust. Okay. Coming to amendments with respect to income from salaries the standard deduction 50,000 or amount of salary which are less is continues to be there. Then we have another amendment in section 17(2)(7). Andre illi perquisites anta, this is 17(2)(7) is with respect to perquisites. Earlier where it was stating that any contribution made by an employer towards employees superannuation fund up to 1.5 lakhs was exempted. Beyond 1.5 lakhs it was considered as perquisite. ಇವಾಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರೆ 1.5 lakhs ನ 7.5 lakhs ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. But instead of superannuation they have added these two, that is employees contribution to recognized provident fund, employees contribution to 80CCD1 ಅಂದ್ರೆ national pension scheme ಗೆ or approved superannuation fund ಮೂರು ಸೇರಿಸಿ 7.5 ಲಕ್ಷ ಮೇಲೆ ಇದ್ರೆ up to 7.5 lakhs is not considered as a perquisite. Beyond 7.5 lakhs to be considered as perquisites and taxable in the hands of employee. Next to 17(2)(7)(a), one more amendment. The annual accretion by way of interest, dividend or any other sum of similar nature received during the previous year on such amount which is taxed as perquisite under section 17(2)(7). Andre enappa andre illi, say suppose the employer is contributing 10 lakhs for all these three put together, up to 7.5 lakhs it is exempted. 2.5 lakhs is considered as perquisite in the hands of employee. The next year, whatever the income accrues receives on that particular 2.5 lakhs, that is also considered as perquisite. So every year 7.5 lakhs ಮೇಲೆ ಏನ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಏನ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಗೆ ಅದನ್ನು perquisite ಅಂತ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Next, house property li some noted amendments ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 23(4) ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ, where if a person is having more than one house property earlier, ಒಂದು ಮನೆಗಿನ್ನ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದಿದ್ರೆ they could have considered one house as self-occupied property. Beyond that one house where they are not let out and they are using for their own purpose, more than one house they were supposed to treat it as deemed to be let out property. ಈಗ ಏನ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ one house has been converted into two houses. So up to two houses it can be considered as self-occupied. Beyond two houses, say suppose an example where a person is having three houses, all the three are not let out, self-occupied. Maybe ಒಂದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಒಂದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರ ತಮ್ಮನೋ ಅಣ್ಣನೋ ಯಾರೋ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ತಂದೆ ತಾಯಿ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. All the three is self-occupied, it is not let out. ಸೊ ಮೊದ್ಲು ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ಒಂದ್ ಹೌಸ್ ನ self-occupied ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಿಕ್ಕಿದ ಎರಡನ್ನ ಡೀಮ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಲೆಟ್ ಔಟ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಯ್ತು. ಇವಾಗ ಎರಡು ಮನೆ self-occupied ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ಮಿಕ್ಕಿದ್ದನ್ನ ಡೀಮ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಲೆಟ್ ಔಟ್ ಅಂತ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಂದು 23 subsection 5 ಅಲ್ಲಿ for this builders when they are constructing the house property and they are selling, if they can't sell the house property, there is a stock, closing stock, where the builders have constructed the house property. Because of this COVID and so many economic slowdown, you would have seen a lot of people, builders, they would have constructed the house property but they are not able to sell the house properties. If flats estone ಖಾಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, so ಆ owners ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, a particular stock na they would have just keep it as a closing stock, ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಏನ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ಇಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ. ಇವಾಗ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಯಾವ ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಅವರು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಷನ್ ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ ತಗೊಂತಾರೆ, ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಆ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಒಂದ್ಸರಿ ತಗೊಂತಾರೆ. ಅದಾದ್ಮೇಲೆ 2 ವರ್ಷ ತನಕ ಅವ್ರೇನು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ನ ಡಿಕ್ಲೇರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 2 years ಆಫ್ಟರ್ obtaining the certificate of completion, ಎನಿ ಅನ್ಸೋಲ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಟಾಕ್ ಏನಾರ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಡೀಮ್ಡ್ ಟು ಬಿ ಲೆಟ್ ಔಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಹೌಸ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನ ಚಾರ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಆರ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಷನಲಿ ಸಮ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ಸೊ ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ ಗುಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಎ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಅಂತ ಒಂದಿತ್ತು. ಅರ್ಲಿಯರ್ as a partnership firm ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ಓವರ್ ಎ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ದ ಫರ್ಮ್ ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟೆಡ್ ಆರ್ ಸೆಲ್ಫ್ ಜನರೇಟೆಡ್ ಸರ್ಟನ್ ಗುಡ್ ವಿಲ್. ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಗುಡ್ ವಿಲ್ ಅಂತ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ನರ್ಸ್ ಗೆ ಕ್ರೆಡಿಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. Now they have removed all those goodwill of a business or profession ಅಂತ ಏನಿತ್ತು, that was also considered as a intangible asset. Tangible asset, intangible asset ಅಂತ ಇದೆ. Tangible asset means where you cannot see. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಡಿಪ್ರಿಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಕ್ಲೈಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. Now they have removed that definition of intangible assets ಅಲ್ಲಿ section 2 subsection 11 ನಲ್ಲಿ this goodwill of a business or profession ಅಂತ ತೆಗೆದುಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. It is not considered as an asset, no more an asset. So you will not get depreciation on intangible asset. Next ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಏನಂದ್ರೆ 36(1)(5)(a) and 43(b) ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯರ್ಸ್ are making or collecting contribution from the employees. To give an example, ಇವಾಗ ESI ಇರಬಹುದು, PF contribution ಇರಬಹುದು. So the employers who are employing the employees, they will collect contributions from employees, deduct contribution from employees towards ESI and PF. Then they are going to remit that to the respective departments. ಮೊದಲು ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ all these years ನಮಗೆ ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಪೇಯಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಅಮೌಂಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯರ್ಸ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಈಗ ಈ ESI PF ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯರ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So employer will collect the amount. When he collects the amount from the employee, that will be considered as income in the hands of employer. First collect ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ it will be considered as income in the hands of the employer. When once he makes the payment to the respective departments, it will be allowed as an expenditure or deduction under section 36(1)(5). ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಚರ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವು 10,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, 10,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಇನ್ಕಮ್, 10,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ರೆಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, 10,000 ರೂಪಾಯಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಚರ್. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ವೋಂಟ್ ಬಿ ನೆಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ದೇರ್ ವೋಂಟ್ ಬಿ ಎನಿ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯರ್. ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೀವಿ ಅದನ್ನ, ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್ಸ್ ಏನು? ಈಗ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲವು ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ESI PF ಗೆ ವಾಟ್ ಎವರ್ ಯು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮಂತ್ 15th ಒಳಗಡೆ ರೆಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಜನರಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಕ್ಟೀಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯರ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಮಾಡೋದು. ಸೊ 15th ಅಲ್ಲದೆ 20th ಮಾಡೋರು, 25th ಮಾಡೋರು, ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕ್ಯಾಶ್ ಶಾರ್ಟೇಜ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮಂತ್ ಮಾಡೋರು, ಆತರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಈ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯರ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ಗೆ then we have got one section 43B ಅಂತ. ಬಿಫೋರ್ ಫೈಲಿಂಗ್ ದ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅಲೋ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯರ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್, ಈಗಲೂ ಅಲೋ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು we were claiming both employers contribution and employees contribution up to 139 ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು, ಪೇ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅಲವೆನ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಕ್ಲೈಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ವಿ. ಕೆಲವು ಕೋರ್ಟ್ಗಳು ಅದು ಓಕೆ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯರ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಎರಡೂ ಅಲೋ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ 43B ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಕೆಲವು ಕೋರ್ಟ್ಗಳು ಇಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬರೀ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯರ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಮಾತ್ರ 43B ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಪ್ ಟು ಫೈಲಿಂಗ್ ದ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಆಫ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಚ್ಯೂಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಆ ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ರೆಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ದೇರ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ಕಾನ್ಫ್ಲಿಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಮಾಂಗ್ ದ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ಸ್. ನೌ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅಮೆಂಡೆಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇಟ್ಸೆಲ್ಫ್. ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, where it is very clear in this section stating that if you want to get a deduction 36(1)(5) ಏನಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ has to be made within the due date specified in the respective statute. And 43B ನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಈ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ 43B ನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ದಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ರೆಟ್ರಾಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಈಗ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಇದು ಈ ವರ್ಷದಿಂದ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕಬಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಇಂದ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏಪ್ರಿಲ್ ಇಂದ ಸೊ ಸಂಬಡಿ ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಪೇಡ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯೀಸ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 15th ಆಫ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಮಂತ್. ಈಗ 16th 17th ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಲಾಕ್ಔಟ್ ಇತ್ತು, ಲೈಕ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಲಾಕ್ಡೌನ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಯು ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಡಿಲೇಡ್ ಇನ್ ರೆಮಿಟಿಂಗ್ ದಿಸ್ ಎಂಪ್ಲಾಯಿ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಈಗ ಒಂದ್ಸತಿ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಗೋ ಥ್ರೂ ಅಂಡ್ ಸಿ ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್. wherever there is a deviation or delay, that will not be allowed as a expenditure. All those things will be added back to your income. So this we should be very very careful, and this is all a retrospective amendment. If 43B antu from the beginning anta helbididare, so retrospective, and even they can go back for 3 or 4 years, whatever time they can go back, they can reopen the cases and send you the notices for this. Next to 43AC anta ondide, like when you sell a property, immovable property being land, building or both, so we have something called market value, that is a sale value, sale consideration, and stamp duty value. So new market value, stamp duty value nodbeku. Say suppose stamp duty value of a particular property is 1 crore and your market value is 1 crore 5 lakhs, no problem, that will be your sale consideration. Say suppose it is 90 lakhs and stamp duty value is 1 crore. Avare ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು, ನೀವು ಸ್ಟಾಂಪ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ನೀವು ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಲ್ಲ, ಮಿನಿಮಮ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ದ ಸ್ಟಾಂಪ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಅಂತ ಲಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಸೊ 90 lakhs ಗೆ ನೀವು ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಟಾಂಪ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ 1 crore ಇದ್ರೆ ಯು ಶುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟೇಕನ್ 1 crore ಆಸ್ ಯುವರ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್. ಈವನ್ ದೋ ಯು ವುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ರಿಸೀವ್ಡ್ 90 lakhs, ನೀವು 1 crore ಅಂತ ತಗೋಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು. 43AC ಅಂತ ಏನ್ ಬಂತು, ನೀವು 5% ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಅಲೋ ಯು, ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 1 crore ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ಇದ್ದು ನಾನು ಸ್ಟಾಂಪ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ ಇದ್ದು ನನ್ನ ಸೇಲ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರೇಷನ್ 95 ಲಕ್ಷ ಇದ್ರೆ ಐ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ 1 crore, I will take 95 lakhs. Now that 5% has been increased to 10%. the variation can be 10%. So in the first example I gave, the stamp duty value is 91 crore and sale consideration is 90 lakhs. The difference is within 10%. Still you can take the market value of 90 lakhs and you need not consider the sale consideration of 1 crore. Sorry, stamp duty value of 1 crore for treating the income. Next to 43 AC nalli innondu amendment agide. So first time buyers andre yaro ಒಂದು business property na first time buy ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, being an individual, first time if they are buying a residential unit and the period ಏನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ 12/11/2020 to 36/2020 ಇನ್ನೂ ಒಂದು ತಿಂಗಳಿದೆ. ಈಗ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದರ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿನ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಲಾಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ and the consideration does not exceed 2 crores. 2 crores kinna ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರಬಾರ್ದು ಆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ ವ್ಯಾಲ್ಯೂ, ರೆಸಿಡೆನ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿ less than 2 crores ಇದ್ರೆ instead of 10% variation up to 20% variation also it will be allowed. So the person who is selling, he can sell at a differential of 20% from the stamp duty value and the market value, the sale value. He need not go for 10% variation, he can still go for 20% variation. Then 44A in the tax audits for in case of business people who are having more than 1 crore turnover, they were subject to tax audit. Last year it got amended. Instead of 1 crore, it was substituted by 5 crores, where most of the transactions are done in through digital ways, modes, not in cash. So that 5 crores now has been increased to 10 crores. So any businessman having a turnover of up to 10 crores, he need not be subject to tax audit, provided aggregate of all the receipts he gets, all the receipts, and in that receipts in the form of cash it should be less than 5% or equal to 5%. So whatever the amount you receive, whether it is revenue receipts or capital receipts, total receipts in baratte, it should be less than or equal to 5% of the total receipts will be in the form of cash. Cash includes non-account pay check and non-account pay draft also. If it is less than that, similarly, aggregate of all payments, it's not just receipts, even the payments, if all the payments, aggregate of payments is less than 5% in cash, then he will not be subject to tax audit. If it exceeds 5%, even though the turnover is less than 10 crores, he will be subject to tax audit. So all the transactions should be not in cash, should be in the digital mode or electronic mode has to be done. Next amendments with respect to capital gains, I think I will not spend much time on this. 45(1)(b ಅಂದ್ರೆ 10(10)(d ಅದೇ ಅವಾಗ ಯುಲಿಪ್ ಅದೇನಲ್ಲ, ಯೂನಿಟ್ ಲಿಂಕ್ಡ್ ಇನ್ಶೂರೆನ್ಸ್ ಪಾಲಿಸೀಸ್, where it is subject to taxation ಅಂದ್ರೆ it will be considered as a capital asset and it will be charged to tax under section 112 at the rate of 10%. 45(b) again, this is with respect to money or capital transfer, capital asset transfer or both from firm, AOP or BOI. 9B ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ initially, similar to that 45B, but it requires more explanation and it is still evolving section as we know. This has been introduced recently, so it will take some time for us to understand. So I'll skip this particular thing for the time being. Then 50C ಅಂತ ಒಂದಿದೆ, where 43AC ಒಂದು ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ, where if it is a business asset, the difference between stamp duty value and consideration up to 10% variation it is allowed. Similarly, if it is a capital asset, it's not a business asset, it is a capital asset, that is investment. If you are transferring that immovable property, the difference between the sale consideration and stamp duty value up to 10% is allowable. Then we have amendments in other sources, 56(2)(10) anta barutte. Here also in the hands of the recipient, if ಈಗ ನಾವು ಒಬ್ಬರು ಸೇಲ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಪ್ರಾಪರ್ಟಿನ, the difference is more than 10% or 10% ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇವ್ರಿಗೂ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಆಗತ್ತೆ, ಆ ರೆಸಿಪಿಯಂಟ್ಗೂ it will be considered as income under section 56(2)(10). ಅದನ್ನ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು 5% ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಇದನ್ನ ಅದನ್ನು 10% ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಪ್ಲಸ್ 57 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ರಿಡಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ what is this deduction ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಈಗ dividend income earlier it was exempted, now it is taxable. Dividend income from investment in domestic companies or investment in specified units, ಈಗ mutual funds or ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಯೂನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇಟ್ಟಾಗ you will get interest or dividend, that was all exempted earlier. Now everything is taxable. So So you can to invest these particular funds, if you have borrowed some money, say for example, a person has borrowed 10 lakh rupees and is paying an interest of say 6%. So for 10 lakhs, he's paying 60,000 as interest, and this 10 lakhs is investing in domestic company shares or some mutual fund units where he's earning 12% income. So 1,20,000 is what he's earning, and 60,000 is what he is paying as interest. Now we could have said that under section 57, I have borrowed this money, I have paid interest of 60,000, I am getting an income of 1,20,000. Let me claim this 60,000 as an expenditure, and balance 60,000 only I will offer for income tax. Now there is an amendment where it says, in case of these situations, the deduction shall not exceed 20% of the dividend income or income from units. So what is this 20%? ಈಗ 1,20,000 ನನ್ನ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 20%, that is 24,000 only I will be eligible for claiming the deduction. Even though I have paid 60,000, I will not be eligible to claim 60,000. I will be eligible to claim only 24,000. So ಮೊದಲು ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, 1,20,000 income, 60,000 expenditure, we would have offered 60,000 for as income. Now 1,20,000 income, 24,000 restricted to 24,000, that is 20% of 1,20,000, 96,000 you have to offer for income. Next ಕೆಲವು amendments with respect to deductions. 80EA ಅಂತ ಒಂದು amendment, ಒಂದು section ಇತ್ತು, where if it is an affordable housing property ಅಂತ ನೀವು ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ they would have got additional 1,50,000 interest benefit. ಅದು ಯಾವಾಗ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ before 31/3/2019 ಏನೋ ಇತ್ತು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟಿಂಗ್, then it has got extended to 2021. Now if the loan sanctioned up to 31/3/2022, you are eligible to claim that deduction under section 80EA. Then we have 80G and 80 section 35. 80G ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತು. Now when once we give certain donations to certain institutions, we will get 80G receipts where we can claim deduction under section 80G. ಇವಾಗ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಯಾರು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೋ 80G receipts ನ institutions, non-profit organizations, they have to file a return, submit a statement of all the receipts during a particular financial to the income tax department in form 10BD ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಫಾರ್ಮ್ ಇದೆ before 31st May of assessment year. So this starts from this year, ಅಂದ್ರೆ 21-22 financial year it start ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. So first return will be filed by 30th of May 2022 for whatever the receipts donations you collect in a particular previous year. That institution has to file a statement. Adalde in form 10B in bitu, for all the people, the donors who has given donations to these institutions, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು form 10B ನಲ್ಲಿ. That is also before 31st of May 2022. On the 31st of May of every assessment year we have to give. Based on that particular form, the donor can claim deduction in his return of income. ಈಗ ನಮಗೆ 26 years ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, TDS ಆಗಿರೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ ಅಡ್ವಾನ್ಸ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟಿರೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಈ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ಸ್ ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಆ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್, based on that the donors can claim deduction under section 80G. Then we have 80 IAC and 54 GB. This is with respect to startup companies. I'll just leave that for the time being. ಒಂದೇ ಒಂದು ಅಮೆಂಡ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಲೈಕ್ ಈ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಅಪ್ ಕಂಪನಿಗಳು ದೇ ಕುಡ್ ಹಾವ್ ಕ್ಲೇಮ್ಡ್ ಡಿಡಕ್ಷನ್, ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅವ್ರ 3 years ಕಂಟಿನ್ಯೂಸ್ 3 years they would have got basic exemption. That window was for 7 years. ಅಂದ್ರೆ 3 out of 7 years ಯಾವಾಗ ಕಂಪನಿ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 7 years ಅಲ್ಲಿ any 3 years continuous 3 years they could have claimed tax exemption. 7 years na they have extended the window to 10 years. And the definition of startup company was turnover up to 25 crores itto. Now they have made it to 100 crores. So that is one amendment in 80 IAC and 54 GB. 80 IBA anta ondide, where a person who constructs affordable housing projects adu notify agbeku. They have to apply to the department and they should get it notified subject to certain conditions. The income was exempted and the sale madadaga income was exempted. Now apart from that sale of housing projects, they have come out with rental housing project. ಅಂದ್ರೆ this is to help the migrant workers. ಅಂದ್ರೆ people from different states move to different states for working, and after the work is over, maybe somebody may stay there for 10 years, 15 years, or even limited period of 5 years. They can go back to their respective states. E particular migrant workers, so they may not prefer to buy a house property, so they may go for a rented house property. So e affordable housing na rent ಕೊಟ್ಟರುನು notified, and the projects which has been notified, the projects na notify agಬೇಕು. They have to apply to the income tax department, get it notified. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರೋ income ಅನ್ನು 100% deduction they will get it. Next, coming to the filing of income tax returns, 139(1) ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, section 139(1), where the assessees have to file the income tax returns. The due dates ಹಳೇದೇನಿತ್ತು almost ಅದೇ ಇದೆ. Only amendment that has happened is with respect to these tax audit cases. Tax audit ಗೆ due date was 30th of September ಇತ್ತು ಮೊದಲು. ಇವಾಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಇಂದ ಆ 30th September ನ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಆಡಿಟ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಗೆ they have maintained. For filing the income tax return from 30th September, it has become 31st of October. So earlier it was 30th of September. Now for 30th September is retained for filing the audit report, and after that 1 month they can file the income tax return. Plus ಇದು belated return and revised return ಅಂತ ಇದೆರಡು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಜುಲೈ ಇರಬಹುದು ನಮ್ ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್, ಇಲ್ಲ ಸೆಪ್ಟೆಂಬರ್ ಇರಬಹುದು ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್. ಅಪ್ ಟು March 31st we used to go and file the returns. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್ ಮಾರ್ಚ್ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಲೈಂಟ್ಸ್ ಗಳು. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಜನ ಬನ್ನಿ ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅಂತ ಜುಲೈ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕರೆದ್ರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಸರ್ ಮಾರ್ಚ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡ್ಯೂ ಡೇಟ್ ಇರೋದು, ನಾವು ಬರ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ವೇಸ್ ದೇ ಫೈಲ್ ದ ಬಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ಸ್. ನೌ ದಟ್ ಮಾರ್ಚ್ ಗೆ ಹೋದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಈ ಸತಿ ಮಾರ್ಚ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಏನೋ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಆಗಲ್ಲ, ಯಾಕೆಂದ್ರೆ they have reduced that belated return due date from March to December. So now the due date has become 31st of December. So any client or any of you who are planning to go visit your CA office only in the month of March to file the return andre innu munde adagalla. Now you have to prepone and visit in the month of December, and all these dates are as per the Income Tax Act. What I am telling, as it is for this current financial year, everything has been changed. ಅಂದ್ರೆ postpone ಆಗೋಗಿದೆ. ನಾನು ಅದನ್ನ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬರೀ ಇಲ್ಲಿ as it is as per the act ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾತ್ರ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. Now this October has become I think November ಆಗೋಗಿದೆ, ಈ ಡಿಸೆಂಬರ್ ಇರೋದು ಜನವರಿ ಆಗೋಗಿದೆ. So I'm only telling what is there in the act. Then coming to some of the TDS provisions, section 194 ಅಂತ ಇದೇನಂದ್ರೆ dividend from Indian companies and dividend from units. Earlier ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಡಿವಿಡೆಂಡ್ ಬಂದ್ರು it was exempted. In section 1034 ಅಂತ exemption ಬರೋದು. If you have invested in various domestic companies, dividend ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಲ್ಲ exemption ಇರೋದು, because the companies was paying dividend distribution tax. Now it has been abolished, so it is subject to tax in the hands of the shareholder. So 194 ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, if you are getting more than 5,000 interest or dividend from a particular company, there will be a TDS of up to 10%. Similarly 194K nallu ashte, income you are receiving from any mutual funds and the income is more than 5,000 andre, you will be subject to TDS of 10%. Then there are certain sections. ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ HUF TDS ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಆಡಿಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ they were supposed to do TDS, otherwise they were not supposed to do TDS, tax deduction ಅನ್ಸೋದು. ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಯಾರಿದ್ರೆ where they are in that particular border case ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋರಿಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ, otherwise you will be subject to TDS. One subject to TDS in the sense you are supposed to do TDS. Individuals and HUF, if they are under tax audit in the previous year, they were supposed to do TDS in the next year. ಇವಾಗ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರೆ, ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಆಡಿಟ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಪದ ತೆಗೆದುಬಿಟ್ಟು any individual or HUF, if their turnover gross receipts from business is more than 1 crore or receipts from profession is more than 50 lakhs, yadara ondiದ್ರೆ they are supposed to do TDS in the following year. Whether they are under tax audit or not, it is irrelevant now. So ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ವರ್ಷ ಗೊತ್ತು ನಾನು ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಆಡಿಟ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಮಾತ್ರ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ನಾನು TDS ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೆ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ತಪ್ಪಾಗುತ್ತೆ. We have to see what is your receipts. 1 crore ಇದೆಯಾ, 50 lakhs ಇದೆಯಾ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು then you have to take a call to do or not to do TDS. Then there are certain last year ಕೆಲವು amendment ಆಯ್ತು. When you are withdrawing cash from your own bank account, either one or more accounts in a particular bank, beyond 1 crore ಇದ್ರೆ there is a TDS of 2%. The banks will deduct TDS on your behalf and they will remit to the government. Then 194O under payment of certain sums by e-commerce operator to e-commerce participant. So e-commerce under all digital transactions, digital sales, digital commerce, we say, where there is supply or sale of goods or services using the digital platform or facility. The person who provides this facility is called as e-commerce operator, and the person who uses this facility and sells his goods or services is called as e-commerce participant. So whatever payment made by e-commerce operator to e-commerce participant is subject to TDS of 1% under section 194O. Then 194P was the deduction of tax in case of specified senior citizen. I will just cover that in the next slide. And 194Q also, the new section that also I will cover. This 206.1G and 206.1H. These are all TCS provisions. We are talking about TDS, that is tax deduction at source. This is TCS, tax collection at source. 206.1G, consideration for sale of goods. Tumma jana businessmen already you would have implemented if there is a sales beyond 50 lakhs from a particular to a particular buyer, you are deducting TCS at the rate of 0.1%. Already you people would have been done from, because it got affected from 1st of September 2020. So you are doing all those things. 206.1G also last year where you are remitting any amount through liberalized remittance scheme only, through authorized dealers. If you are transferring amount from India to abroad, then there is a TCS of 5%. And the second one is seller of overseas tour program package. Most of us will not be aware of this because we have not taken foreign trip in the last 1 year. Because of COVID, so there's no question of going out of country as overseas tour program package. So next year when things become normal, if you want to go out of India, if you take a help of a overseas tour program operator, then there will be a TCS of 5%. So you should be aware that there will be a TCS of 5% for any overseas travel through this tour package. So this was introduced in the last year's budget. Now we will come to this two sections I will explain, which was introduced in the current year budget. That is 194P. That is deduction of tax in case of resident specified senior citizen. Who is this resident specified senior citizen? Now we got tax rates nodaga slabs alli resident resident senior citizen nodidvi, resident super senior citizen nodidvi. Now there is one more category called resident specified senior citizen. Who is this resident specified senior citizen? A person who is aged 75 years or more in the previous year. Ali senior citizen 60 years, super senior citizen 80 years itto, ಇಲ್ಲಿ specified senior citizen 75 years or more. And who is the payer? A specified bank, a nationalized bank is making payment to a senior citizen. What is the type of payment? The type of payment is pension and interest income. So ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ಯಾರಾದರೂ employment ಅಂದಿದ್ದು ಅವರಿಗೆ pension ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ they would have designated to a bank, say Canara Bank ಇರಬಹುದು, SBI ಇರಬಹುದು, or some other nationalized bank. Every month ಆ particular account ಗೆ pension ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. Plus ಆ particular income ಗೆ maybe SBI account interest ಇರಬಹುದು, or they would have kept some fixed deposits, ಅದರ ಮೇಲೆ interest ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರಬಹುದು. So type of payment is pension and interest income. ಎರಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ ಆ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಗೆ ಈ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಸಿಟಿಸನ್ ನಾವು ಡಿಕ್ಲರೇಷನ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಸಿ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೈ ಪೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಅಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೈ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್. ಇದನ್ನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ನೀವೇ ರಿಲೆವೆಂಟ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೀವೇ ಕಟ್ಕೊಡಿ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಡಿಕ್ಲರೇಷನ್ ಕೊಟ್ರೆ ಆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕರ್ಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಡೂ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅವರು ಟೋಟಲ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಈ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈಡ್ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಸಿಟಿಸನ್ ಪ್ಲಸ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಪೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ತಗೊಂಡು ಅವ್ರ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ಷನ್ ಏನು ಪ್ಲಸ್ 87 ಏನಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಬೇಟ್ ಸಿಗತ್ತಾ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡಿ ಆ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ಬಂತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಪೇ ಮಾಡಿ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಫೈಲ್ ವಿತ್ ದ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್. ಇದೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಸೂಪರ್ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈಡ್ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಸಿಟಿಸನ್ ದೇ ನೀಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಫೈಲ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್. ನೋ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ಫೈಲ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕರ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಬಿಹಾಫ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈಡ್ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಸಿಟಿಸನ್ ಡಸ್ ಆಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವರು ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಪೆಸಿಫೈಡ್ ಸೀನಿಯರ್ ಸಿಟಿಸನ್ ನೀಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಫೈಲ್ ದ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್. The condition ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ they should have pension income and interest income. ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಇತ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ they cannot come under this particular scheme. Only they should have pension income and what you call the interest income. Then 194Q ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಹೊಸದು, ಲೈಕ್ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ ಟು 206 1H ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾನು TCS ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ಅದೇ ತರ ಅಲ್ಲಿ seller has to take a deduction of 0.1% on the sales made. Illi buyer has to do. What is that? Payment of certain sum for purchase of goods. ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ purchase ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ goods ನ, they are supposed to do TDS, and it applies only to purchase of goods, not purchase of services. Andre you can even get goods or you can get the services also, supply of services so agbodu. But this particular section applies only towards purchase of goods. So any person who is purchasing goods only will be eligible or liable to do TDS. Who is that person? Who is the person who is making a payment? Is called as a buyer. To whom he has to make that payment? TDS is to the resident seller. So what is the value? Type of payment is value or aggregate value of purchases of any goods in a previous year. Andre every purchase ge nan TDS madabeka illa enadra limit idya? Yes, there is a limit. So up to 50 lakhs there is no need for TDS. Yaradru obru purchase ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರೆ up to 50 lakhs in a previous year, they need not do TDS. Beyond 50 lakhs they are supposed to do TDS at the rate of 0.1%. And who is this buyer? Every buyer should do TDS, or is there any category or any specified person who is considered as a buyer? Yes, there is a specified category. Buyer means a person whose total turnover or gross receipts or sales is more than 10 crores. So each and every businessman cannot be coming under the ambit of this 194Q. Those dealers who have a turnover of more than 10 crores, and if they are purchasing to the beyond 50 lakhs, they are supposed to do TDS to the purchases made. So ivaga they have started with more than 10 crores and they have started with more than 50 lakhs turnover. In the future they may reduce this 10 crores to 5 crores and 50 lakhs limit to 25 lakhs, so that you will more and more people will come under this particular ambit. And the main intention of these sections, that is 194Q, is not to collect taxes from the people. The government's intention is not just to collect the taxes. Ee particular section intention enappa andre to collect the information, not to collect the taxes. What you will get in 50 lakhs ge 0.1% andre 5,000 barbodu. It is not a very huge amount or huge income that the government is expecting from these sections. What they are expecting is the information. So if the buyer says I will do TDS of 0.1%, I will deduct some 1,000 or 2,000 on that will be recorded from this particular seller I have purchased and the record agbidutte. So they can go and catch hold of the seller. See, this is what you have sold, whether you have declared all this amount or not. So whenever all these provisions are coming, the persons who are under these provisions should be more and more careful. They have to declare everything. Otherwise, the department will come running and say that this is your sales, this is your purchases, you are not declared that much, kindly pay the taxes. So you should be very careful while declaring. And as far as my consultation goes, you declare as much as possible, or if possible 100% you try to declare, so that you will not have any problems, neither from income tax department nor GST departments or other departments. Then there is one more section for non-tax non-filers of income tax return. Of course, this maybe you can talk to your consultants where they can give you more explanation. Whenever you are deducting TDS, if you are supposed to do TDS, you have to under particular sections you have to see whether the recipient has filed income tax returns for the 2 previous years. Andre navu PAN ತಗೊಂತೀವಿ TDS ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ, ಇವಾಗ ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲವು ಸೆಕ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು TDS ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ರೆಸಿಪಿಯೆಂಟ್ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ 2 ಇಯರ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರ ಅಂತ ತಿಳ್ಕೋಬೇಕು. ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ there will be a differential rate, double the rate of TDS what you are supposed to deduct. Say suppose ಈಗ ನಾವು ಏನಂತಾರೆ ಒಂದು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀರಾ, ದ ರೇಟ್ ಮೇ ಬಿ 2%. ಅವರು 2 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ರಿಟರ್ನ್ ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಫ್ 2% as per these provisions, you may have to deduct at 5%. So, it's my sincere suggestion, wherever you are under this TDS and all, you just talk to your consultant, where he will give you more insights to these particular sections. So I have given some TDS charts. So this is when I think I'll ask the organizers to share this presentation. These are all the TDS rates. It starts from 0.1% and it goes up to 30%. But majority of the TDS rates are at 5% and 10%. And these are all TCS rates. This is applicable TCS rates. ಈಗ TDS rates ಅಲ್ಲಿ last year from 14th May to 31st of March, whatever these rates were there was a what you call amendment. 75% of the existing rate can you TDS ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರಿ. But from 1st of April 2021, ಅದೇನು notification ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ. So you have to follow the same rates and you have to deduct TDS. These are all the TCS rates for various things. As I was telling, 206C 1G, LRS and overseas tour program 5% to 206C 1X seller of goods 0.1% in the TCS. There are few more sections. These are all some of the sections like penalty sections and like that. I think I'll skip this for the time being. Lastly, we will come to this registration of trust institutions. As I was telling, so all these registered trusts like 1023C nalli they have to apply for exemption. 12A nalli also they have to get the exemption certificate. 35 alli they will get the notified. Andre income tax department CBDT ಗೆ apply ಮಾಡಿ notify ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. 80G ನಲ್ಲಿ approval ಬರುತ್ತೆ. So 1023C and 80G ನಲ್ಲಿ approval ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ for exemption. 12A ನಲ್ಲಿ if you register you will get an exemption certificate. 35 notified institutions ಇರುತ್ತೆ. All these institutions which are running now, which are getting exemptions, ಇವಾಗ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ like there are a lot of problems with these institutions. Problems not only with the institutions, also with the income tax department. ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ like there are various institutions which are existing from ages like centuries. There may be certain institutions which is more than 100 years old or 150 years old. Trust ಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಹಳೆದೆಲ್ಲ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, established in 1880s or 19s ಅಲ್ಲಿ so many institutions are there. Income tax department ಏನಾಯ್ತು ಅಂದ್ರೆ like they don't have a proper documentation of all these institutions. ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರನೇ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಈ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಅವ್ರ ಹತ್ರ ಎಕ್ಸಂಪ್ಷನ್ ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಡಾಕ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ವಾಟ್ ದ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಸೆಡ್, ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಎಕ್ಸಿಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್, all these institutions, whether it is a fund, a trust, university or hospitals, they have come out with a window ಅಂದ್ರೆ from 1st of April 2021 to 30th of June 2021. This is what I've said. So ಈ ಇದರಲ್ಲಿ everybody has to apply. All the existing exempted trusts irbodu, notified institutions irbodu, or approved institutions irbodu, all these people, all these 4 categories of people, they have to apply to the income tax department with their existing registrations, and they have to get re-registration. Re-registration yav madbeku andre within 3 months from 1st of April to 30th of June. Already most of the people would have already filed, and they also are getting the re-registration certificate. The existing institutions yavaga file ಮಾಡ್ತೀವೋ they will get registration for next 5 years. 80G registration irbodu, 12A registration irbodu, next 5 years ಗೆ they will get the re-registration. ಯಾವ ತರ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ 10A and ಫಾರ್ಮ್ 10AB ಅಂತ ಇದೆ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ಸ್. ಎರಡು ತರ ಇದೆ, ಎರಡು ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರಿ. ಸೊ whichever category you fall into, you have to apply that application, and it is all online application ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇವಾಗ anyway we cannot go to the department, and most of it has become online applications. So you have to do online applications and you will get the renewal registration. The new registration with unique registration number, one unique registration number ಅಂತ 16 digit ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆ 16 digit ಅಲ್ಲಿ 10 digit will be your PAN number, and there will be another 6 digits. Adding to your PAN number there is another 6 digits. So PAN number, this is alphanumeric unique registration number for everything. ಈಗ 12A registration ಇದ್ರೆ ಒಂದು unique registration number ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ, 80G ಇದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು registration ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಎರಡು ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. 12A ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ ಇದೆ, 80G ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 2 ಸಪರೇಟ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. 2 ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ 2 ಯುನೀಕ್ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಸ್ ಪರ್ ದ ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ 19/21. ಈ ನೋಟಿಫಿಕೇಶನ್ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಇದು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅವ್ರು ನಮಗೆ 10AC ಅನ್ನೋ ಒಂದು ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಷನ್ ಸರ್ಟಿಫಿಕೇಟ್. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ವ್ಯಾಲಿಡ್ ಫಾರ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 5 years. So all these non-profit organizations, ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ you are handling or you are part of this non-profit organizations ಅಂದ್ರೆ just ensure that you have to get yourself re-registered. One more month time ಇದೆ. April start ಆಯ್ತು. Already we in our office where I am handling, I've already filed applications to all the institutions where I am handling, and most of them they have got the 10AC certificate ಬಂದ್ಬಿಡ್ತು. 5 years ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ದು application or this registration is valid for next 5 years ಅಂತ we already got the application also. And ಕೆಲವು ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಿಟ್ಯೂಷನ್ಸ್ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಈವನ್ ಇನ್ ROC ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು where CSR ನಂಬರ್ ಅಂದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಇಫ್ ಯು ಗೆಟ್ ದಟ್ CSR ನಂಬರ್, the companies have to give some donations to that non-profit organizations, they will be asking whether you have got the CSR number ಅಂತ. So 3 things you have to do. One is 12A registration income tax ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, 80G income tax ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, and if you are getting some funds from the companies under the CSR activities ಅಂದ್ರೆ ROC ನಲ್ಲೂ ಅದನ್ನ ಫೈಲ್ ಮಾಡಿ CSR ನಂಬರ್ ತಗೋಬೇಕು. So if you get all those things, it will be easy for the companies to give that donations to your associations under their CSR activities. So these are some of the things I thought I'll share with you. This I just skipped, like there are certain penalties and all. So ಇದೊಂದು ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ಈಗ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಇಂದ ಈ ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್, ಅಪೀಲ್ಸ್, ಪೆನಾಲ್ಟೀಸ್, ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬಿಕಮ್ ಫೇಸ್ಲೆಸ್ ಇನ್ ಅಂಡರ್ ದ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್. All this faceless has become. So for many things, almost 20 activities of the Income Tax Act has become faceless. Now you need not go to the Income Tax Department. Your consultant need not go to the Income Tax Department, but you have to file everything through the what you call this the Income Tax website ge hogbittu ella ನಾವು submit ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. Everything has become faceless, and everything has become faceless andre there are advantages and also there are disadvantages. Advantages ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, you need not go to the department, you need not convince him, you need not do other measures. Only you have to submit your what you call the technically you have to submit all the details to the department. Disadvantages ಏನಪ್ಪಾ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, now it is not a one particular assessing officer that will be doing. It's a team of officers, because it's a centralized process of assessment ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು, appeals ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು, penalties ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು, and they are getting lot of information, they are getting lot of knowledge, and it's a group of team of officers who will be dealing with that, and they have got a technical committee, they have got a review committee, assessment units, other various categories are there. So if somebody assessing officer is not understanding something, he will immediately refer to a technical unit, where you will have more officers, are technically strong people, and they will interpret that and they will give it. So it cannot happen like that. ಈ ಒಂದು ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಒಂಥರ ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಯ್ತು, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಆಫೀಸರ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ತರ ಅಸೆಸ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಓವರ್ ಎ ಪೀರಿಯಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಲೈಕ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕಲ್ ಸಪೋರ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಆಲ್ ದ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್, ಅಂಡ್ ದೇ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ನೋ, ಎವ್ರಿಬಡಿ ನೋಸ್ ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್. ಯಾವ ತರ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಈ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಸಿಚುಯೇಷನ್ ಈ ತರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಕಡೆನೂ ಅದೇ ತರ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Recently when we filed a assessment reply ಕೊಟ್ವಿ, within 2 days we got the assessment order. ಈ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಇದ್ರಲ್ಲಂದ್ರೆ 2 days ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ನಾವು because of faceless assessments, even we were surprised. Within 2 or 3 days we gave a reply of almost 20 pages, but they sent immediately within 2 days they gave us back the assessment order. So ಈ ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ. Income Tax Department is also very very fast, and they can ask anything to us. There is no restriction on Income Tax Department to ask what they want. So now as business people ಆಗಿರಬಹುದು, as assessees, it is our duty to maintain everything properly. ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ವೋಚರ್ ಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ನಾವು ಆಡಿಟರ್ ಹತ್ರ ಹೋದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಬೇಜಾರಾಗಬಹುದು, ಏನಪ್ಪ ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ ವೋಚರ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಬಿಲ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಆ ಡೀಟೇಲ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಈ ಪ್ರೂಫ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಆ ಪ್ರೂಫ್ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅನ್ಸಿರ್ಬೋದು. as a what you call this assessees clients, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್ ಮಾಡದೆ ಒಂದು ಇದು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೂ ಎಲ್ಲ ತಂದು ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾ ಅನ್ನೋ ತರ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅನ್ನಿಸ್ಬೋದು. ಬಟ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ತಾ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ವೆರಿ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್, until unless we maintain the documents properly, it will be very difficult for us to go on appear before the income tax officers. ಇವಾಗ 26 years ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊದಲು ಬರೀ TDS ಬರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು, ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಡ್ವಾನ್ಸ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಕಟ್ಟೋದು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇತ್ತು. ಇವಾಗ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಇಂದ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇವನ್ ಯುವರ್ GST ಟರ್ನ್ಓವರ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ದ 26 years. ಸೊ ನಾವು GST ಟರ್ನ್ಓವರ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಟರ್ನ್ಓವರ್ ಏನಿದೆ, ರಿಕನ್ಸಿಲೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅಲ್ಲೇನೋ ಡಿಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ, ತಿರ್ಗಾ ನೋಟಿಸ್ಗಳು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ GST ಬರುತ್ತೆ, GST ಇಂದ ಇನ್ಕಮ್ ಟ್ಯಾಕ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ನಾವು ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ಯು ಕಾಲ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಸರ್ವರ್ ಇರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಈಸಿ ಫಾರ್ ದೆಮ್ ಟು ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಚರ್ ದ ಡೇಟಾ. So we should be really more careful and more, I should say, abiding to the compliance. We should be more and more compliant to the existing laws as such. And the department has got 360-degree of information of each and every assessee. ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದೆ ಇರೋ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಟೆಕ್ನಾಲಜಿ. ಸೊ ಎಲ್ಲೋದ್ರೂ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನಾವು ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಇಲ್ಲ ಇದು ಪೇಟಿಎಂ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಯಾರು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ನಮ್ಮ ನಂಬರ್ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಗೋ ಸಮ್ವೇರ್, ಯು ವಿಲ್ ಪರ್ಚೇಸ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್, ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಜಸ್ಟ್ ಗಿವ್ ಯುವರ್ ಮೊಬೈಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಸರ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಚರ್ಡ್ ಅಟ್ ದ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಎಂಡ್. The department will have huge data, but the thing is they don't have time or administrative mechanism to monitor that and send notices and do the collect the taxes agli illa notice kalisi madadakagli. They don't have that much of manpower. That is the reason they are keeping quiet. Otherwise there are a lot of information which we ourselves may not be knowing. They will be having those information, will be captured, and we should be more careful more and more careful. I know most of you may be careful now, as of now, but still we should be more careful. And sometimes we'll feel why we have to take a bill, why we have to maintain all these documents. It's always advisable you maintain all the documents for whatever the claims you make. You should have a proper authenticated documentation. Then once everything is there, definitely we can represent, and there is no need for other things. ಏನು ಆಯ್ತು ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ ಅನ್ನೋದೆಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಎಲ್ಲಾನು ನಾವು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ the basic level ಇಂದಾನೆ at the source only we can, if we take care of the transaction, if we are clear about the transaction, we can go ahead, so that any number of notices we are getting, we will be in a position to go and face the income tax department. So with this, I think I'll conclude my presentation. I once again thank Vivekananda Alumni Boarders for giving me this opportunity to share a few of my thoughts with each and every one of you. I hope I made some sense to all of you. Some knowledge has been shared. If you have any questions, I'd be eager to take it up. Thank you once again to all of you.